Alright, here is speedrun of the Excel Esports case VSTACK Man. A little bit like Pac-Man, but not Pac-Man. So for this first one, I'm going to use just the address lookup lambda that I have to look up here on the map. Just look up the address there, fill those in. Alright, so now I need, the addresses here, not that far, just that far. And then, the same thing as before, right? Just the contents of them. So this, based on that. And I need to know how many blocks there are, right? Just call that block. Don't have to worry about repeats yet, do I? I don't think so. Is a block. So see how many blocks there are. Fill that in. Check the score so far. Looks good. All right, now we're going to deal with repeats, right? So it's the same thing as before, but now we care about repeats. So addresses, contents, is it a repeat? And then I'll do, a second content. And I got to go all the way through to AJ. All right, so AJ. Down here to check if the address is a repeat, I will use my exists lambda, right? So exists on here with one of the row references locked. We'll just keep going down and we'll see if that one exists or not. If it does, then it's a repeat. So if it is a repeat, then nothing. Otherwise, the contents. Right, and now I'm going to count here the number of blocks going down. It's always the same length here. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing but add walls, and also we're based on this arrow here, right? So I've got an arrow lambda that takes all the weird arrows and turns them into normal arrows. And I've got a arrow trip lambda that takes a starting location. This happens a lot in these cases, right? Takes a starting direction and a cell. It also needs, because I don't want to go forever, so I need a range for it to work in. And can't forget the commas there. That's gonna give me this. This could be all kinds of different. This is a variable length, right? So I'm going to make this, I'll give it, I don't know, 100, just as a guide so I don't run out of room. I've already got, address and contents. The repeat, and if it is content, I can take care of like this. So, yeah, those are repeats, right? So if it is a repeat, then nothing. Otherwise, the contents, copy that all the way down. Those aren't that many. Those are checking the contents for being repeats, which is not what I want. I want to check the address for being a repeat, like that. And then, we'll just add up all this going, as far as we need to. Alright, so levels 3. No, well, 4 is not right. Oh, because I didn't stop the walls. So we'll be done if we hit a wall. So I got to identify what the walls are, right? So let's do, unique to call of this just to get all the symbols, right? And then I will pull out some walls, right? We can call these walls. So if, just exists, right? Walls, this. If this is a wall, then we are done. Alright, so now we're going to XLOOKUP a 1 for done and return on the score, which I can keep here, right? So, why don't I give myself a little bit of room here to keep a score. So start the score at 0 and be if this is a block, then increment the score, otherwise keep the score the same. Now we XLOOKUP 1 for, done on the done thing. Turning on here. It should also maybe, no, you always hit a wall. You can't never hit a wall. So that should be good for level 4. Now for level 5, similar, but there's bugs, bugs chasing us. Or not chasing us. Well, they're sort of chasing us. They're walking around. All right, now we're back to, it's not an arrow trip anymore. Now it's just a list of cells that we're moving to. Like that. Contents is just, again, the address lookup of the address. Yes, let's get rid of the little asterisks there. All right, don't do that. All right, my repeat should still be fine. Contents. The score is good. The done is going to change now, right? Because I got to take care of the bugs. So here's the bug, and here is done. Right? So the bug is to call of the bug. And then we're done. If this is on the same cell, then 1 otherwise 0. The instructions say we don't have to worry about them passing each other or anything. So now we just XLOOKUP 1 on the done column, 1 on the done column, returning on the score column. All right, and this, it is possible to survive, right? So we're done if or we're on move 100, right? Or that, in which case we survive to the end and we're done then, right? There's 100 moves here. Yeah, 100 moves, so we survive if we go to the end, like that. So if we make it to row 100, then to move 100, then we've survived the bugs. All right, those are all right. Now we got to find the quickest route, so we need our Dijkstra-like algorithm. My Dijkstra-like algorithm, I mean, if you don't have one set up ahead of time, you're in trouble. But if you do, you can use it. Mine does not automatically handle wraparound, so I'm going to handle wraparound like this by just making 3 copies of this thing. And noting that it's 28 columns wide, right? So I'm going to have to deal with that when it's time. So that's the maze. I probably should have made a safe copy first. Oh, well. Now I'm going to make CC for cell cost, right? So, these are X's because the walls you cannot go through. Yeah, X, no, paste. All right, like that. These cost 1 each. The blank cells cost 1. 0 costs 1. That costs 1. Bugs you cannot move through, although the bugs aren't in the right place on this one, but we'll deal with that. Deal with that later. Just line those up. So now for cell cost, right, we're going to XLOOKUP the symbol here on our cell cost table we made. So the symbols are there and their costs are there. And just, put that in. But there's one caveat, which is the bugs. All right, so we got bugs, which are here. And I want these bugs to appear in all 3 of the maps, right? So ref to RC of this has a row, please. So that's the leftmost one, right? And then, so if this is the bug's row and the bug's column, right? The rows are the same in all 3 of my copies, right? So I just can't paste values, got to do that, right? No, yeah, just went too far. Equals that, equals that. And this is just this plus 28, right? Because this will be the left one, the middle one, and then the right one, and then equals RC2 ref, right? So row column back to ref on H44 and I44. So those are the bug locations on my map. I also got to put myself in the middle rather than the left, right? So ref to RC here. I'm just going to add, I'm going to do RC to ref of the same row, but then column plus 28. So now I'm starting myself in the middle rather than on the side, so in case I need to wrap around. So I'm going to change the cell cost based on the bugs, right? So if the address, right, which is address of row and column, right, the address of the row column I'm in right now, with option number 4, because I want it to be relative, if that exists, is my exists lambda, right? So, you know, that's the bug. So if the bugs, if the address I'm looking at now exists in that bug list, then an X, because you can't go through bugs. Otherwise, all that. And then I need one more close, I think, and that should be it. So here, yeah, V17 and yeah, I mean, they're all V17, right? So like if V17 is a bug, yeah, V17 is a bug, so that's working. Then the last thing is just to make the route cost, right? This is where that Dijkstra-like algorithm comes in. Just made a new sheet, and I say route cost of this whole thing with the start location being like the middle start location, which is that one, right? So that should tell me how long it takes. There's no diagonals allowed in this one. Is that on the map? AY20 is on the map. Let's see. What are we doing around here? What even error am I getting? Spell. Okay, well that's good. I want you to spell. Is there something funky around here? All right, well now it's thinking. Why don't you want to go? Spelling. I mean, it should not be going this far. Spill in this space. Yes, I know, that space is empty. Clear contents. Alright, try this one more time. I don't know why Excel thinks the space is not empty, but it is. Clear contents, delete. Equals route cost of this locked into place. Shouldn't matter. And then that's the address as a string, right? And then it's gonna spill for some reason. What if I put it in cell F9 of a brand new sheet? Haha, tricked you now. All right, well, I don't know why it didn't wanna go, but there it is, right? So this is, you know, how many steps it takes to get to each location. And the locations that I care about are the power-ups, right? It's like how fast could you get to a power-up is what this question is asking. So I use my little x2 call just to turn this into a lookup table. and, you know, filter the addresses by the symbols, but I need the little disk icon there where the symbol equals that. Right, so those are the locations of the power-up. Right, so now I look up on my thing here, my route cost. I look up each of these and see which one is closest. Right, so this should be, wait, did I do route cost wrong? I'll bet I did because I didn't turn off diagonals. You can't do diagonals because if you do diagonals, then he's gonna go right around the bugs, and that's not allowed. Diagonals are not allowed. All right. Now I think we've got the answer, right? Which is just the minimum of these. This takes a second because it's got to do, you know, this Dijkstra-like algorithm over and over again. There are our answers. This should be enough to do it, right? Yep, level 6 is all correct. Now level 7, we're going to go back. I'm going to copy over from level 5 because level 7 is much more similar to level 5 than it is to level 6. All right, so guide now, I need 200 moves. And VSTACK man's addresses goes all the way out to GX. All right, and then his, you know, do all this here. Let's see. So his contents go all the way down like that. Just checking the addresses correctly if I do that. And then contents 2, right, based on the repeat. The score should be fine because it's still based on the non-repeated blocks. Now I got to worry about all these bugs, right? So now there's 3 bugs. So I'm going to, oh, that didn't go down far enough. Yep, because I made a blank there I don't want. So there's a score. Yeah, he's still getting points there. All right, so the bugs are now 3 bugs. I don't know why I'm spelling them like that, but I am. All right, so not to call, but transpose. So I need all where the bugs are every turn for 200 turns. It's here. And I need to know if we have any power or not. So if you have a power up, right? So your power starts at 0. So if your content is a disk, do I have the disk here? All right, so if your content, no, content can't repeat, right? So if your content is a disk, then your power goes up to 30. Otherwise, it is the max of either 0, because you can't have negative power, and this -1. All right, so that should, when he gets a disk, right, it goes up 30, then it goes down. All right, so now I need to see if the bugs are still alive. Bug alive. So all the bugs start out alive. So in order for the bug to die, first of all, power has to be greater than 0, right? And VSTACK man, there's always an H, has to be in the same location as the bug. And that's it, and the bug dies. So then then 0, otherwise carry down, right? That should work for all of these if I did the locking correctly. Yeah, so what, on 34 he eliminates. Move 35 he eliminates a bug. That's interesting. Yep, it's not lined up right. That's got to go there to GX. And these, I think, are lined up right. Yeah, okay. So now he's eliminating a bug on, yeah, 35. So that bug is no longer alive. All right, so what about VSTACK Man? Is he alive or are we done? So this is kind of complicated, right? Because he can get killed by any of these bugs. So if he gets killed by any bug, or if he finishes the game, honestly, right? So if this is, so if or, right? This equals 200. That means he won. He finished the game. So that's one possibility. Or he's going to get killed by a bug. So let's say this is him getting killed by the first bug. So this is his location. Has to be equal to the first bug's location. Which, no, that one's not going to be locked. And his power has to be 0. And the bug has to be alive. If all of those are true, then he dies from the bug, right? He dies from bug 1. Now, I also have to check if he dies from bug 2, if he dies from bug 3, and that's it. Right, so bugs 2 and 3 are just going to get moved. This is R. This is, the first one is Q, then R, then S. This M changes to N and O for the other 2 bugs. All right. Got to close the OR, and then just, yeah, 1s and 0s. So if I look up a 1 and return the score, that will give me the score, which is close, but not right. Giving him. Oh yeah, this is all lined up wrong. All right, so like this is supposed to be here. Yeah, I got confused, I think, by my 0 row on the top. There we go. Now it's lined up right. All right, this one's got too many lookups for its own good, I think, but it's finished. Just took a second. And yeah, so level 7's all correct now. So finish up bonuses. We will do. Oh, this is why you should keep a clean copy of the maze. That was the original maze. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it as a frequency table, and find just the walls add up to 46. All right, I got to find the code block that is a different color. I could do that with have a subroutine for that now, which is just this tall board. All right, so this is just telling me all the characteristics of every cell, including the color of the font of the first character. So for all the ones that are here, the weird one is this, right? The rest are all white, and then the weird ones are here, and then the one that actually was on the original maze is the one on the left, which is this. All right, bug names. I'm gonna do concat xlookup, the numbers in 68 to 76. 68 to 76 on, I've got this pre-prepared with the numbers and the letters. And it's bubblegum. All right, move numbers where VSTACK was caught by a bug. If he's caught by a bug, it's game over. So I only want the first time he's caught by the bug, right? I'm not sure if that matters, but that's what I'm going to assume. So if this equals this, then the turn number, otherwise nothing. All right, and I want x2 call of this is gonna get rid of the blanks for me. Just have this. So I don't want the addresses. I just want the first one. And if it never catches, if he never gets caught, then just do 0, right? So now apply this to all the games. Add these up, 273, according to the bar at the bottom. It's pretty sneaky. He only got caught a few times. And where does he eliminate all 3 bugs? Well, I don't know. Let's just see. I've already got bug alive, so if the sum of bug alives is 0, that's got to be the one, right? So turn my what if table on. And there's a 0, game 135. He got them all. That's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.